Cedar Specialist Hospital in Lekki was where Lagos's elite brought their medical concerns. Private rooms that looked like hotel suites, nurses who spoke in hushed tones, bills that made middle-class families weep. Adanna Okafor swept through the VIP wing like she owned it, which, in a way, she did. Her husband, Dr. Emeka Okafor, wasn't just a donor. His pharmaceutical company, Okafor Med, supplied 60% of the hospital's medications. His name was on the new pediatric wing. His money had renovated the ICU. That kind of money bought more than medical care. It bought deference. It bought priority. It bought the right to treat staff like servants. "Where is my daughter's private nurse?" Adanna demanded at the VIP nurse's station, her Hermes bag hitting the counter with deliberate force. The head nurse, Mrs. Okonkwo, looked up with practiced patience. "Mrs. Okafor, good afternoon. Nurse Chioma is with your daughter now." "I didn't ask where she is. I asked why she isn't here reporting to me." "Ma, she's administering Zikora's scheduled nebulizer treatment. And she couldn't wait 5 minutes? Do you know who my husband is?" Everyone in Cedar Hospital knew who her husband was. They were reminded daily. Mrs. Okonkwo's professional smile tightened. "I'll call her immediately, Ma." "Don't bother." Adanna walked away, her heels clicking like judgments against the polished floor. Inside room 507, Nurse Chioma Nwankwo was doing what she did best, caring for a patient with absolute focus. 7-year-old Zikora sat up in bed, the nebulizer mask over her small face, breathing in the medication that kept her airways open. Chioma monitored the machine, checked the oxygen saturation levels on the monitor, and gently smoothed the child's hair. "You're doing great, Zikora," Chioma said softly. "Just 3 more minutes." Despite her mother's attitude, Zikora was a sweet child. She'd been hospitalized for 3 days with a severe asthma attack, and Chioma had been assigned as her primary nurse. The door burst open. Adanna. "Why weren't you at the nurse's station when I arrived?" No greeting, no acknowledgement of the medical procedure in progress. Chioma stood, professional despite the disrespect. "Good afternoon, Mrs. Okafor. I was administering Zikora's scheduled treatment. It's important not to interrupt. Don't tell me what's important. When I arrive, you come to me, immediately." "Ma, I understand, but medical protocols." "Medical protocols?" Adanna laughed, sharp, cutting. "Do you know how much we pay this hospital? Do you know who ensures your salary gets paid?" Chioma's jaw tightened, but her voice remained calm. "I'm just trying to give your daughter the best care. The best care would be showing respect to her mother, but I suppose that's too much to expect from someone like you." "Someone like you." The words hung in the air, heavy with contempt. Chioma said nothing. She'd learned that certain types of patients' relatives only made things worse. She turned back to Zikora, checking the nebulizer. That silence, that dignified, professional silence, enraged Adanna more than any words could have. 30 minutes later, Adanna sat in Dr. Adebayo's office. The chief medical director was a man who'd learned to navigate the complex politics of running a hospital dependent on wealthy donors. "Dr. Adebayo, I want that nurse removed from my daughter's care, today." "Mrs. Okafor, may I ask why? Nurse Chioma is one of our most experienced pediatric nurses." "I don't care about her experience. She's disrespectful. She ignored me when I arrived. She prioritized some nebulizer over acknowledging me." "Mrs. Okafor, the nebulizer treatment is time-sensitive. It's hospital protocol not to interrupt." "Don't quote protocols to me. I want her off my daughter's case. Is that clear?" "Of course, I'll reassign." "No, I don't want her reassigned. I want her gone, fired, out of this hospital." Dr. Adebayo's expression shifted. "Mrs. Okafor, surely that's extreme. A reassignment would—"
Adanna leaned forward. "Dr. Adebayo, let me be clear. My husband is the reason this hospital has a pediatric wing. We're the reason your cardiac unit has the latest equipment. When we make a request, we expect it to be honored. Or perhaps you'd like us to redirect our donations to Lagoon Hospital." The threat was naked, brutal, effective. Dr. Adebayo felt something die inside him. the part that had once taken the Hippocratic oath with pure intentions. "I'll handle it." "Today," Adanna said. "I want her gone by evening shift." She left. Dr. Adebayo sat in his office, staring at Nurse Chioma's employment file. 6 years of excellent service, not a single patient complaint. Mother of a 4-year-old son, sole provider after her husband's death. But powerful people didn't care about such details. He picked up the phone. Chioma was in the nurse's break room, eating a small meal, rice and stew from home, because hospital cafeteria food was beyond her budget, when her phone rang. "Nurse Chioma, please report to the CMO's office immediately." Her stomach dropped. In 6 years, she'd never been summoned to Dr. Adebayo's office. Announcements came through supervisors, schedules through department heads. Direct summons from the CMO meant something serious. She knocked on her door at exactly 2:47 p.m. She would remember the time later, when her life split into before and after. "Come in." Dr. Adebayo couldn't meet her eyes. That told her everything before he spoke. "Nurse Chioma, please sit." "Is something wrong with a patient?" "No, the patients are fine." He paused, gathering words he'd clearly rehearsed. "Chioma, you've been an exemplary nurse. Your patient care is beyond reproach. Your colleagues respect you. Your supervisors have only praise." Past tense, Chioma noticed immediately. "However," Dr. Adebayo continued, his voice heavy, "we've received a complaint from a VIP patient's family. They've requested your removal." "Mrs. Okafor?" It wasn't a question. "Yes, and they've insisted on termination rather than reassignment." The room tilted. "Termination? I'm being fired. For what?" "The complaint alleges disrespectful behavior." "I was giving her daughter medical treatment. I followed protocol exactly." I know. Dr. Adebayo finally looked at her, and she saw shame in his eyes. "But Mrs. Okafor is connected. Her husband's donations." "So money matters more than justice? More than 6 years of service?" "Chioma, I'm sorry. If it were up to me—" "But it is up to you," her voice broke. "You're the CMO. You have the power to stand up for your staff." "And lose the hospital's largest donor? What about the other nurses who need salaries, the patients who need equipment? Sometimes we have to sacrifice." "Sacrifice? You mean sacrifice me because it's convenient?" Dr. Adebayo had no answer. "I have a son," Chioma said, tears now flowing. "His school fees are due next week. How am I supposed to—" "You'll receive 2 months severance, a positive reference letter." "A reference letter saying what? That I'm excellent at my job, but got fired to appease a rich woman's ego. Who will hire me with that story?"
Word spread fast in hospitals. By the time Chioma cleaned out her locker, the entire nursing staff knew. Some hugged her. Some cried. Some looked away, ashamed of their relief that it wasn't them. "This is wrong," Mrs. Okonkwo said, holding Chioma's hand. "Completely wrong." "But not surprising," Chioma replied quietly. "We all know how it works. Rich people break things, poor people pay the price." As she walked through the hospital, no longer an employee, but now an escort, she passed Zikora's room. Through the window, she could see the little girl playing with an iPad, breathing easily now because of the treatment Chioma had administered, the treatment that had cost her everything. She stopped, turned, looked at the child one last time. "I'm sorry I won't be here to take care of you," she thought. "I hope whoever replaces me knows your triggers, knows how you like the nebulizer mask adjusted, knows that you hold your breath when you're scared and need gentle reminding to breathe slowly." But that knowledge walked out with Chioma. Adanna heard about the firing within an hour. She called her friend Kimberly immediately. "I had that nurse fired today," she announced triumphantly. "The one from the hospital?" "Yes, she thought she could ignore me, thought her little protocols mattered more than showing me respect.
I had my husband's connection get her fired on the spot. Adanna, you're terrible, Kimberly laughed. I'm not terrible, I'm powerful. There's a difference. These small people need to learn their place. Just because she wears scrubs doesn't mean she can disrespect me. What did she even do? It's the principle, Kimberly. When I walk into a room, people acknowledge me. Period. She wanted to play medical professional? Fine, she can play unemployed professional now. They laughed. Adanna felt satisfied, vindicated, powerful. She had no idea that karma was already sharpening its knives, and that in less than 2 hours she would be begging for the very nurse she destroyed. It happened at 6:47 p.m. Zikora was eating dinner, jollof rice that Adanna had ordered from a high-end restaurant because hospital food is beneath us, when she started coughing. Not unusual, asthmatic children coughed, but this cough was different, sharper, more desperate. Adanna looked up from her phone. "Zikora, take your water." Zikora tried, but between coughs she couldn't drink. The coughs became wheezes. The wheezes became gasps. Adanna stood up. "Zikora!" The child's eyes widened with fear. She clutched her throat. Her lips were starting to turn pale. Adanna ran to the door, screaming, "Nurse! Someone! Help!" The evening shift nurse, young, newly graduated, nervous, rushed in. Her name tag read, "Nurse Blessing." "She can't breathe!" Adanna's voice was pure panic now, all her earlier arrogance burned away by terror. Nurse Blessing checked Zikora's vitals. Oxygen saturation 89% and dropping. Respiratory rate 32. Signs of severe respiratory distress.
I'll get the nebulizer. She already had her evening treatment. This is an acute attack. She needs emergency medication. Nurse Blessing's hands shook as she prepared the nebulizer. Zikora's breathing became more labored. She was working so hard to pull air into her lungs. Her small chest heaved, her nostrils flared. Nurse Blessing tried to place the nebulizer mask, but Zikora, panicking, fought against it. She was too scared, too desperate for air to understand the mask would help. "Hold her still," Nurse Blessing instructed. Adanna tried, but Zikora was thrashing, fighting, her oxygen-deprived brain no longer processing logic. The oxygen saturation hit 85%, then 82%. Then 80%. Scene 2. The crisis. 9:30 to 11. "I need help!" Nurse Blessing hit the emergency call button. 2 more nurses rushed in. They tried to hold Zikora gently but firmly, but the child's panic was complete now. She couldn't breathe, and the mask felt like suffocation. "She needs the nebulizer," one nurse said. "She won't keep it on. Then we need to intubate. She's a child. We need parental consent for—" "Do it!" Adanna screamed. "Do whatever you need to do." Dr. Adebayo arrived, paged for the emergency. He saw Zikora's vitals, 78% oxygen saturation. Dangerously low, life-threateningly low. "Get respiratory therapy, now," he ordered. "And someone page Dr. Okafor." They tried everything. Different nebulizer positions, different medication combinations, oxygen through nasal cannula. But Zikora's airways were so constricted and her panic so severe that nothing was getting through. Her lips turned blue. Her movements became weaker. Adanna watched her daughter dying. "Please, someone help her! Do something!" Dr. Adebayo saw it happening in slow motion, a preventable tragedy unfolding because the one nurse who knew this child, who'd spent 3 days learning her triggers and responses, who knew exactly how to calm her during an attack, that nurse had been fired 4 hours ago. "Where's Nurse Chioma?" Dr. Adebayo asked suddenly. "Sir?" a nurse responded, confused by the timing. "The nurse who was caring for this child, where is she?" You fired her this afternoon, sir." "I know I fired her. I'm asking where she is. Does anyone have her number?" Mrs. Okonkwo, who'd come for the emergency, said quietly, "I have it." "Call her, now. Beg her to come back, immediately." "Sir, she lives in Ikorodo. It'll take at least an hour." "Then we pray this child has an hour." Mrs. Okonkwo dialed, her hands shaking. Chioma answered on the third ring. Nurse Chioma, please, we need you. It's Zikora. She's in respiratory distress. She won't cooperate with treatment. We're losing her. Silence on the other end. Chioma, I know what happened today was wrong. I know you have every right to refuse, but this child needs you. She's dying. More silence. Then, I'm in Ikororo. I can't. I'll send a hospital driver, right now. Please, Chioma. As a nurse, as a mother, please. Chioma heard a woman screaming in the background. Adanna's voice, stripped of all arrogance, raw with terror. Please, someone save my baby. The woman who'd had her fired hours ago. The woman who'd destroyed her livelihood without thought. The woman who'd called her someone like you with dripping contempt. I'm coming, Chioma said, but tell them to hurry. Every minute counts. She grabbed her nursing bag. She'd been too devastated earlier to even remove her stethoscope, and ran outside to wait. Behind her, her 4-year-old son, Chidi, called out, Mama, where are you going? To work, baby, to save someone's life. Even someone who'd tried to destroy hers. The hospital driver broke every traffic law in Lagos. 45 minutes from Ikorodu to Lekki during evening rush hour should have been impossible. They made it in 37 minutes. Chioma used the drive to call ahead. What's her current status? Oxygen saturation, 76%. We've administered epinephrine. She's fighting the mask. Is she on a continuous neb? Yes, but she won't keep it on. Tell them to stop forcing it. Stop restraining her. It's making her panic worse. But doctor said, I know Zikora. I know her triggers. Trust me. Back off. Let her breathe in her panic. Sometimes you have to surrender control to gain it back. That's not protocol. Your protocol is killing her. Do as I say. In the hospital room, Dr. Adebayo heard this through speakerphone. Against every instinct, every training, he said, do what she says. Everyone step back. They did. Immediately, Zikora's panic decreased slightly. Not much, but measurably. Her oxygen ticked up to 87%, then 82%. Now, Zikora, I'm going to put on your special mask, the one that makes you feel better. Do you remember how we hold it? Zikora nodded. Chioma placed the nebulizer mask gently on her face. You hold it, okay? You're in control. Zikora's small hands came up, holding the mask herself. She didn't fight. She breathed. Oxygen, 85%, 89%, 92%. The room exhaled collectively. For the next hour, Chioma stayed with Zikora, monitoring, adjusting, comforting. The crisis passed. Zikora fell asleep, exhausted from the battle for breath, her oxygen saturation stable at 97%. Only then did Chioma allow herself to feel the fear, the exhaustion, the bitter irony. She'd been fired for putting this child's medical needs first, and called back to save the child's life for the exact same reason. She stood to leave. Wait! Adanna's voice, small and broken, came from the corner where she'd been sitting, watching. Chioma turned. She said nothing. You saved her. I did my job. After what I did to you, after I had you fired. This isn't about you, Mrs. Okafor. It never was. It was about a child who needed medical care. I'm sorry. Adanna's face was streaked with tears, all her makeup smeared, all her arrogance washed away. I'm so sorry. I was cruel. I was evil. I destroyed your job because I could, because I was angry that you didn't treat me like I was special. Chioma's voice was steady. You are special, Mrs. Okafor. You're a mother. That's the most special thing in the world. But it doesn't make you better than me. It makes us the same. Both of us would die for our children.
The difference is, I would never hurt another mother to prove my worth." The words landed like stones. "Please," Adanna begged, "tell me how to make this right." "You can't. My job is gone. My reputation is damaged. My son asked me tonight why I was crying, and I had to lie, because how do you explain to a 4-year-old that someone destroyed his mother's life for entertainment? I'll get you your job back. I don't want your charity. I don't want your guilt. I want you to understand that your actions have consequences, that the small people you crush so casually are human beings with families and dreams and bills and babies." Chioma walked to the door. "Nurse Chioma?" Dr. Adebayo's voice stopped her. She turned. "Your job. If you want it, it's yours, with a raise and a formal apology in your file." Chioma looked at him, then at Adanna, then back at the sleeping child. "I don't know if I want to work in a place where money matters more than morality," she said quietly. "Let me think about it." She walked out of Cedar Hospital for the second time that day, this time on her own terms. Dr. Emeka Okafor arrived at the hospital 2 hours after the crisis. He'd been in Abuja for meetings that mattered more than his family, until family almost disappeared forever. He found his wife in Zikora's room, sitting in the chair Chioma had occupied, staring at their sleeping daughter. "What happened? I got 6 frantic calls." "I almost killed our daughter," she said flatly. Emeka stopped. "What?" And she told him everything. The perceived slight, the firing, the crisis, the desperate call to the woman she'd destroyed, the rescue. When she finished, Emeka sat down heavily. "The nurse I fired today, she's the one who saved Zikora?" "Yes." "And you fired her for not dropping medical care to greet you?" "Yes." Emeka looked at his daughter, then at his wife. "Who are we, Adanna?" "What? Who have we become? When did we become people who destroy lives for sport?" "You knew about the firing. You didn't stop it." "I didn't know the details. You said she was incompetent." "I lied. She was perfect. She was kind to Zikora, professional, skilled. I had her fired because she made me feel small by not treating me like I was big." Emeka closed his eyes. "My father was a bus conductor. Did you know that?" Adanna looked up, surprised.
He worked 16 hours a day so I could go to university. He died of exhaustion when I was in medical school. And I made a promise at his funeral that I would never forget where I came from, that I would treat every person with dignity, that I would use my success to lift others, not crush them. His voice broke. And somehow, somewhere, I forgot. We both forgot. We became the type of people my father despised, the type who see other humans as inferior, as disposable. "What do we do?" Adanna whispered. "We make it right, all of it."
3 months later, Cedar Hospital looked different. Not in design, still luxury, still expensive, still catering to Lagos elite, but in spirit. A new sign at the entrance. All staff are to be treated with respect. Regardless of donor status, no patient or family has the right to abuse, threaten, or demean our healthcare workers. Dr. Okafor had funded it personally, and he'd done more, established a staff welfare fund, increased salaries, created a whistleblower system for abuse, because almost losing his daughter taught him what all his billions couldn't, that every person matters. Adanna changed too. She volunteered now, actually volunteered, not just showed up for photo ops, at the pediatric wing. She learned the names of nurses. She said please and thank you. She saw people. One morning she found Chioma in the break room. "Nurse Chioma, may I sit?" Chioma nodded. They sat in silence for a moment. "Does Zikara still ask for you?" Chioma finally asked. "Every day. She talks about Nurse Chioma who saved my life. She doesn't know I almost ended yours." Children see people clearly before we teach them not to. Adanna nodded. "I'm learning that. Unlearning, really, all the terrible things wealth taught me, that power means not having to care, that money buys the right to cruelty. I'm trying to be different. Trying is good. Trying is all any of us can do. Will you ever forgive me?" Chioma considered the question. "I don't know. What you did hurt me, terrified me, made me question my worth, but I'm working on it, because unforgiveness hurts me more than you. So I'm working on it. That's more grace than I deserve. Probably, but grace isn't about deserving, it's about choosing, every day. Choose to be cruel or kind. Choose to destroy or build. Choose to see people as tools or as humans. You chose wrong once. Now you're choosing right. That's growth." Adanna wiped tears. "Thank you. Don't thank me. Just do better, forever. Use your money to lift, not crush. Use your power to protect, not destroy. Be the person your daughter thinks you are." "I will. I promise." And slowly, painfully, expensively, because growth always costs something, she learned to keep that promise.